Welcome to The Flower of Freedom by Deborah J. Reeves. We're at chapter 116, and we are truly delighted that you have chosen to spend some time with us. Please come in, leaving your burdens outside the door. Take a seat. Allow yourself a few minutes of relaxation. We hope you enjoy our story. Chapter 116, The Angel. They would float for hours in the soothing waters. Bertie once watched a leaf fall from a treetop high above the valley floor. It seemed to fall in wide arcs for a leisurely eternity before it silently joined a billion others which carpeted the floor of the valley. Bianca had never been calmer or more beautiful. Her curly hair was black when it was wet, and her eyes were greener than the lush foliage all around. She seemed happy there. She once told Bertie that she had never expected to find such a place anywhere but Tahiti. "I was really hoping that's where you were taking me for my honeymoon," she said. Screw had warned them not to spend the night in the valley. Marauders and wild animals liked the pools by night. He had found evidence of human and animal visitors, and he had often been forced to repair the pools when someone or something pushed the boulders out of place, allowing the waters to escape. Bertie had been worried when he was standing at the altar saying his vows. It was something in her tone and her attitude. It was as though he did not matter throughout the whole process of the wedding. He now realized that she just needed the extra time and attention because she believed that weddings were all about the bride. She had said so many hurtful things, but he always went back to how patient his father had always been with him. No matter what he had said or done, his father had always kept loving him. That's what a man did, wasn't it? No one else understood Bianca, so he had to love her all the more perfectly. No one else understood how tender and how broken her heart was. Even his mother seemed to be unable to embrace Bianca with love, and she loved everybody. Mama's crazy dislike of Bianca had obviously turned the twins against his new wife. They did not even argue when Bianca suggested that the twins should stay home and not attend their own brother's wedding. What kind of familial loyalty was that? Papa could preach it, but when push came to shove, he wanted to be in control of the whole family. Bianca reminded Bertie that he was a man now, and she added, more of a man than his father had been. She reminded him that Oscar wasn't even really Bertie's real father. That stung a little, but sometimes growth is painful, Bertie supposed. Marie was hopelessly competitive with Bianca. Maybe it was as Bianca suggested. She just wanted to compete with Bianca for his own affections. Bianca was insightful. She made him notice that Marie did not give her a chance almost from the moment she arrived in Montreal. Another thing that stung was the way Philippe had fooled Bertie. He had never noticed how competitive and duplicitous he was, and it was a bitter realization. Bertie tried to be as magnanimous as Bianca had been when he asked Philippe to be his best man at his wedding. Bianca had been so open-hearted that she asked his sister to be her maid of honor, and Marie did not even seem to be grateful. She couldn't even muster up the same joy at his wedding that she had exhibited at Suzette's. Who was Suzette anyway? Bertie surmised now that going to France had destroyed Marie and the sister that he had had until then. She simply turned into another person, one that he did not want to know. On their honeymoon, floating in those pools of water, Bertie gained a vision of what his willpower and love would create. It would be a collaboration of two people who would put everything and everyone aside to create something with meaning. She was so exquisite, so fragile, yet so intelligent and intensely sexual. The best that life had to offer was right at his fingertips. One morning they awoke to find the first pool completely drained. After surveying the damage and listening to Bianca's stern assertions that this was not what they had paid for, Janie took Bianca into town for the day. Bertie volunteered to help Screw put the boulders back into place, and both Janie and Screw assumed that he would do anything for a break from Madame la Harridan, as they had secretly called Bianca. Even as a two-man job with huge crowbars for leverage, it was a monstrous job. But the trickle of water from the cliff face had begun to refill the pool before Bianca came back at dusk. The next day, Screw had provided even more mud on his morning delivery, and the honeymoon couple spent the day in the valley once more. They spent most days there, and soon it was their last day. As long as they were alone, and as long as he devoted every ounce of his attention toward her, she was as peaceful and as grateful as a lamb. Bertie took great pleasure in the attention she lavished on him. She denied him nothing, and she pushed him to places he had never even thought of going. She was a black-haired, green-eyed angel who could bring heaven to earth. The morning of their departure, they packed, and Screw drove them back to the airport while Janie remained behind to tend the business. It was as good an excuse as any. Janie told Screw that she would tell Fan to keep any more referrals for people like Bianca to herself. That's the end of chapter 116. Thank you for coming. It's always a delight to know you're here. Please come again. Please consider giving us a like and subscribing so that you never miss a chapter. I remain your friend Deborah. Bye-bye.